Kendall here with Average Dude Slo-Pitch. Today, we're bringing out the brand new Louisville Slugger Geny 3, also known as the Valkyrie. This is going to be releasing Wednesday, March 6th, so keep your eyes peeled. The reason we're in here in the garage right now for this intro portion is we planned on swinging this out at kind of our normal field over there at Apodaca. We got out there was a scheduling conflict, so they actually had some baseball stuff planned. So we ended up hitting up one of our buddies. He was able to get us access over at the Centennial High School field. However, we had to get that done and I think we had about an hour 15 before the baseball team needed it. So we rushed over there, we got the swings in, which you'll see coming up here shortly. We were able to knock out some velo. It is gonna be a little bit shorter video than normal just because of the time crunch. But as you've seen with these power coils, all of them perform great. We're gonna just get some swings on here so you can see it perform, starting with 52s, and then we swapped out and went to Pro M's like normal, and then some velo on there as well. Once that's done, you'll see the ending portion here. We'll talk kind of about the final thoughts once you get to see those swings. So let's get it out there, let you see that footage, and then we'll come back here and talk about the final thoughts on this and kind of how it performed. It's the 13-inch and load real quick before we put swings on it. I'm sure with it being power coil, we'll be right around 300 compression. Way too far. There it is. Oh, sure enough, 300 compression. Let's see how it performs. Knuckle pretty good.
Ooh, you gotta go. Hey, there's a 52.
Tell you, man, these Louisvilles, they hit the 52s really well. Yeah, I hit 52s very well. And the sweet spot's low on it though, because that was down here. You can switch balls. That's a good way to start the classic amps.
He's angry. I don't know, don't forget that grape bait. That bitch is at 300.
I mean, there's nothing to say about it. We don't already say about every Louisville. Sweet spot's huge. You can't miss with it. Pretty much do whatever you want with it.
Hey, he might be back. It's hard not to be a Louis guy, bro.
It's not shot.
You shot.
Dude. Yeah.
Smell you.
Wow. Well, yep, as always, Louisville's very good.
86 miles per hour. 77 miles per hour. 90 miles per hour. 96 miles per hour. 103 miles per hour. 106 miles per hour. 103 miles per hour.
All in all, standard Louisville. Great out of the wrapper, even at 300 compression. The whole bat's pretty much a sweet spot. There's not really anywhere you miss with. Biggest thing is you may not get the highest exit velos of any bat on the market right off the sweet spot, but you'll get that 106 pretty much anywhere, which a lot of bats, you're gonna lose a ton of exit velocity low and high. So something to keep in mind. We'll get back to the garage, get a final compression test, and get you final thoughts. All right, and we're swings complete here with the Louisville Slugger Valkyrie. Again, this is dropping Wednesday, March 6th, so keep your eyes peeled for this one. This is gonna be a 13-inch half-ounce end load model. Pretty sweet little paint job here. I think this kind of digi camo type of thing is a nice design, so just something to keep in mind there. For this one, as you kind of saw there, just like we've seen with all the power coils, this thing starts nice and high, so right around that 300 compression. Some have been close to 275, some a little over 300, just depends. But they're all starting nice and high, and they still perform just as good as anything on the market once they're even like broken in at that point. So the 52s, you've probably heard us talk about it before, DeMarini, Louisville. These two seem to be some of the better USSSA bats that perform as far as the USA, ASA balls are concerned. We had no issues with getting kind of good performance out of those. They were coming off good, clearing those baseball field fences we had out there. Those ones are a little shorter than the normal Apodaca we're at. I believe we end up looking, they're only about 310 down the lines and then 330, I believe, to center. So not as crazy as kind of when we were over at Apodaca, but again, handles the 52s well, feels good. You still get kind of that feedback to know where you caught the ball and kind of how it's performing. Once we swapped over, we swung all Pro M's. There were some Classic M's in there. They're basically mostly Dudley ZNs, Razos. We had a couple hard cores. There's a few mortar balls in there, and then the rest are Razo Classic M's as well. So with the mix of those, really nothing different here with this model power coil versus any of the models you've seen so far drop in 2024 and even as late as 23 with Brady's signature bat. But the ball absolutely flies off this barrel when you catch the sweet spot. I think our max today was 106 off the bat, if I'm not mistaken, and that was with some launch angle there as well. Honestly, I think this bat has the potential as it breaks in more and more too to just get hotter and hotter, just like all the rest of them. I mean, most of the times, obviously, you're only seeing us swing these until we get them down to about 275, occasionally 260, but that still leaves these with lots of wiggle room. So ball absolutely flies off the barrel, super forgiving. Again, the whole thing's like a giant sweet spot, which is what I think I like so much about like the 12-inch Brady signature bat, is you can swing a 12-inch and have the forgiveness of like a 13. And with this 13, you get the forgiveness of really those real long barrel 14s where you're still seeing close to that max performance on the higher portions of the barrel than you would on some of the other bats out there, especially the ones when they're starting at that 300 range or even when they're sitting at the 275 range. For us today, the only kind of negative, and this is our own fault really, is we did end up breaking this one. We actually only had one small seam here, and then once it broke, we figured, hey, let's just go ahead and keep swinging and see how many more swings it'll give us kind of good performance. Surprisingly enough, we had another buddy out there, Anthony Acevedo. He pretty much put all the swings on it for us at that point once it was broken, and he was still getting pretty good exit velocity. I think he hit 3 or 4 of them out until he completely obviously blew it up at that point. So, like I said, our fault. It was about 40, 45 degrees when we started hitting out there, maybe closer to 45, 50. But it was later in the day as that sun was kind of going down, temperatures dropped. So by the time we really got the Pro M's, Classic M's on here, we had only put 20 to 30 class or 52 swings on it, which if you go to sluggerslo-pitch.com, we've talked about this in the past, there's break-in procedures. We by no means follow that on these videos. So the fact that this is our first Louisville to break, and I think since we swung I think it might have been the Sanchez back in the early 240s, is pretty impressive as well. I mean, when we swung the Hartling earlier, 2 months ago we were swinging in 30-degree weather, same way we were hitting kind of today. So this is it's a 25-ounce bat, which is pretty light for us as well. So between the swing speed, bat speed, and then the balls, kind of not really too shocking, but as you saw, it performed well. That's the reason you didn't see the final compression there. We don't have a way to obviously give you a compression. With this being broken, it's going to test at like 100, 150, which does you no good. So with that being said, the highlight of that one is make sure you're using these bats properly. So when you get them, break them in with those 52s if you can. If you absolutely don't have 52s, you don't want to go out and buy 52s, that's fine. Take like half swings off of a tee. You can be live, however, but take half swings with your Classic M's, Pro M's, and do that for a while and really let the bat break in the fibers on here before you just start going 0 to 100, kind of like you see here on the channel. And as you've noticed and we mentioned, you can do that and get away with it, but that's gonna be the times you're gonna see paint seams, things like that. If you're somebody who doesn't want that to occur on their bats, even though the paint seams really don't affect it in a negative manner, make sure you're treating these bats correctly. And then temperature-wise, again, I get that tournaments, night games, things like that, it's gonna be colder than kind of that 60-degree recommendation from Louisville, but if at all possible when you're BPing these, especially if you're not using 52s, make sure you're adhering to that kind of 60 degrees or greater temperatures. And now that it's starting to warm up a little bit, in some places, for us it's warming up, but we have windy season, which is also what cuts us short on some of these BP sessions. But as it's starting to warm up, that won't be as big of a concern. But again, if you don't have 52s, maybe grab some, head over to Evil Sports. You can get some of their BP 52s. If you use code AVERAGE, it'll actually save you 10% as well. And use those on here, pretty much all of your BP. You have no reason to really be out there swinging the Classic M's, Pro M's, anything like that. You know how these bats perform. You've kind of seen it here. You've seen it posted up plenty by Slugger on the different social medias. So don't need to sit there and BP and kind of do the ego boost and see how far you can hit the ball type of thing as well. So with that being said, another recommended Louisville from us. If you're a 13-inch fan, half-ounce end load, here it is. The end load feels not significant by any means. So again, for being a half-ounce, it's exactly how I expect it to feel versus what like the Brady feels like with that full ounce, or even the bubblegum that released recently. So just take a look, think about, hey, what length barrel do you want? What kind of load? If you're a balanced fan, this half-ounce could even work because it's not super heavy of an end load. But if you are a balanced fan, wait, maybe there'll be some balanced versions coming out before too long. If you want that full ounce end load, that's what the bubblegum is for. But just keep in mind with these, they're all gonna perform generally the same. Just pick that barrel length that you're most comfortable with, that you think you'll like the most. And if you need help kind of making that decision or any advice, anything like that, head down to the description of the video. In our link tree, you'll see averagedudeslowpitch.com's on there, as well as other contact info for us. You can email, you can text on that number, you can call the number too if you really want to, or message us on any social medias. We'll always be happy to kind of get you squared away with the best gear, cheapest prices we can, fastest shipping, all that kind of stuff. To grab one of these, you've got kind of two good options if you want a nice price on it. One is head over to headbangersports.com. When you add it to your cart, use code ADS35 at checkout. That'll knock off, I believe it's 20% off of this one, and that should include free shipping for you as well. If you're not seeing that, let us know. Again, reach out to us. You can also go to sluggersslowpitch.com. Code is also ADS35 here for this, and same type of thing. It should be about 20% on there. You see the price is pretty similar there, so just pick whichever one suits you best at that point. And if you need help, like we said, just reach out to us, let us know. But all in all, we appreciate you checking out the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. There's plenty more bats coming here in the near future. Louisville's definitely got some stuff that you're going to want to see coming out in the near future as well. So we appreciate you checking it out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Have a great day.